Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. We're taking a look here at Terra Classic, seeing what's going on, helping you understand best practice, big picture, and obviously looking at some really positive stuff here. Keep in mind the burn is on the horizon. That is set for tomorrow. That could very well spike things up. My speculation is that we will see an increase, but maybe not as impactful as we've seen previous. Again, just throwing it out there. Burns can definitely do some interesting things. I've seen them go both directions. So please just recognize that. Regardless of that fact, though, it does look like we're poised and good to go at a nice specific area. We have a strong resistance level in the past, which now works as a support level, and that's also coincidentally a volume support too. We'll talk about all that and much more. So if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, love teaching people to trade, hope you can learn something here today. And just note, if you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a website, link in the description below. I offer a trading academy, community, and signal group. Really awesome experience there. The other thing as well that I would highly recommend is registering with BitGet. They offer a nice trading bonus, or basically USDT bonus, when you go ahead and transfer funds over there and trade with them. It's based on volume, so make sure that, of course, that you are trading in general to make sure that that happens, but that is available up until November 30th, right? Just so you know that bonus there. But the bottom line is that BitGet is a fantastic exchange. It works very well, very smooth. The application on the phone is, it's above average, I can tell you that. I used to be a ByBit fanatic, and I can tell you BitGet has got them covered. All right, so again, check that out in your own time. Benefit from that bonus USDT. So here's the thing with Luna Classic. Once again, volume support here at this range of right around 27,800. Okay, so again, that's kind of a round number. You could even say 28,000 is a rough estimate. I'd mentioned previously that 28 to 29,000 should be a support zone based on previous resistance levels, but it reiterated that fact here recently. Even though we did dip down below for about a 24-hour period, it came up and now we're making higher lows, and this is a fantastic sign. So higher lows are a really, really good sign when it comes to any type of trend reversal. While we still haven't beaten or gotten through this resistance level here, this Fibonacci retracement of 33,000, we are still in pretty good shape. Correction, I misspoke, 32,400. 32.4 is this resistance zone that we're seeing here so far. All right, so let's take a look at the daily and kind of see what's going on here. All right, so first and foremost, when we look at the daily time frame, we want to see what the RSI is doing. And we're keeping above 50 on the RSI. This is fantastic. That implies we're still bullish in the general sense for Terra Classic. In other words, all of this momentum up here, while it's unfortunate the price retraced, it's makes perfect sense and it's par for the course, right? But the key is that we didn't lose that momentum. Even though the MACD is diverging, we can see a bit of a shift here in momentum as well, where the oscillators are essentially dissipating. So as that starts to come up, you start to see a shift in momentum. With us making higher lows, that's ultimately a positive sign. Okay, so the daily looks pretty darn good, in my opinion. Again, we got the 50-day SMA working its way up as well, closer to 20,000 now, and it's just a matter of time before that works as a support level moving forward. Okay, so again, very, very good stuff there in that sense. Furthermore, when it comes to the 4-hour time frame, we can see the 200-day SIP moving average is working its way up, but the 50 is tentatively working as a resistance. Okay, that's coming to ahead, of course, right there with that key level resistance. So it makes perfect sense that it's doing that. So keep in mind, we may experience a little bit more sideways action before the price action continues to shoot higher. In other words, we could very well see something along those lines here. Let me go ahead and stretch this out a little bit, where the price might take a couple more days for it to break through. Okay, or perhaps tomorrow would be the fundamental catalyst that we need to break through that resistance level. But the key takeaway here is that we are making higher lows. We're working our way up this ascending type of trend, and the likelihood of a breakout to the upside is much higher than a breakout to the downside. Because again, it's complemented by higher lows, and of course, these highs they're parallel, but they are not any lower, okay? So higher highs and higher lows typically translates into a positive. In this case, we have higher lows, and that's the most important thing as a starting point, okay? Excuse me. Recovering from a cold, you'll feel me clear my throat. I do apologize for that. So last but not least here, we want to take a look at, of course, the RSI. We're back up over 50 on the RSI. This is a really, really good sign, ultimately telling us that we are above that key level resistance for the moment, and the likelihood of it continuing higher is greater. We also have a MACD convergence here as well that just occurred roughly 8 hours ago, and that's typically always a great sign. So I would say we have mostly green lights on this transitionary 4-hour time frame. It's a very, very good sign. So we're looking pretty good there. On the hourly, what we want to kind of take a look at excuse me, is TD sequential. So taking a look at TD sequential, we can see we're up to a 7. And if we're at a 7 right now, hypothetically, we have 2 more hours of continuation to the upside. So you got to keep in mind this push right now is running its course. It's hitting its max, because Terra Classic does have a tendency of both hitting 9s and reversing and also going sideways. So we hit a 9 here to the downside, went sideways. Hit a 9 here, recovered. Hit a 9 here, downward, and of course hit a 9 sideways. So you can see that there's kind of a common trend here. Anytime we hit a 9, it's going to shift direction or at least get a good steady consolidation. So what we want to see here, one of two things, is for the price action to continue just a little bit higher to a 9, and then inevitably it goes sideways at this resistance level and break to the upside. That'd be option number 1. The better secondary option would be for the price to come back down, essentially hit another 9 here and bounce off this key level support here, which is essentially the ascending trend, and of course continue to the upside. So those are 2 good possible scenarios. I think either one is beneficial, considering the fact that we have the burn on the horizon and the overall sentiment here is positive. So Terra Classic long would maybe be recommended here and moving forward, just to consider something along those lines. Okay, because it definitely looks like it wants to move upwards versus downwards, but you got to keep in mind on the smaller time frame, it is a bit on the overextended side. We are back up over the cloud, which is fantastic. Conversion lines above the baseline, and of course the lagging span is free and clear of price action. So this really just tells us that a long position is viable right now, and we have that confirmation too that we're looking for, with roughly 4 to 5 hours of consolidation above that price point. Because to me, when I see a price break above the cloud, I always get a little leery, because within 2 or 3 hours, oftentimes it'll reject and come back down. It happens quite a lot. So to me, waiting for confirmation above the cloud, which we have right now, is a better sign. I feel much more comfortable doing that. So at this point, it does look like Terra Classic wants to continue to break to the upside, but we got to recognize it's slightly overextended on the shorter time frame, needs a little time to consolidate, and it should leg up from there. So likelihood of an increase from here is much higher, especially considering we have some positive fundamental news on the horizon. Keep this in mind though, there is a thing referred to as buy the rumors, sell the news. I'm not saying that's going to happen here, but I've seen it happen specifically with burns before. And what happens basically is, when you buy the rumor, you're supposed to buy the rumor so the price goes up. Then of course, when the news occurs, the idea is to sell because the price is going to come down. Okay, not saying that's going to happen here, but that is a possibility. Okay, so please keep that in mind. There is somewhat of a potential for that to occur. Okay, so just letting you know. All right. That's all I have here for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you learned something here, and obviously we'll take a look at this again later. Keep a close eye on it, and kind of go from there. Do appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for your support, your continued support, especially with my community members. You're doing awesome. Keep up the great work. We had some really sweet shorts yesterday from Ethereum. It was really cool to take some profits with you guys. So well done on that. Furthermore, too, if you're not currently a community member, consider joining. CryptoCash.tech is the website. Link in the description below. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Take care.